Okay, now we're live. This is the low latency one, and we need to get the link to put up for people. So all right, I got the link, and I'm posting it, and then we can start. All right. So you're gonna take off the back, right?
I can do that.
You're taking the back off yours right now, or
Yes.
can't see you on your camera, so I don't know what you're doing.
I'm behind the printer.
You could always set up your cell phone on another Facebook call, and I could connect that in too if you wanted. But I mean, honestly, that's a pretty. As soon as you have the back panel off, people will be able to see you again. Because as soon as you get that back panel off, I'm gonna run inside and reset that breaker for her for the AC. And I also want to grab my other cordless drill because I was using it to rebuild the carb on that generator yesterday. I got a different bird air motor in the mail yesterday that I'm gonna test to compare.
So you don't think it's any difference between them?
I think one's blue and one's white. Only difference. Yeah, I need to get that drill because that's gonna make it a lot easier to get these panels and shit off. This stuff out. I'll be right there. I want to actually. I need to move my printer over too so I can get better access. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'll wait till that panel's off before I leave this fight. I don't want everyone to sit there with staring at nothing. Obviously, one of the first things you want to do when you're doing any of this stuff is untension your belts so that when you put everything back together, you don't have to pull it tight. You know, you just have it like no slack, and then we can use the tensioners to adjust accordingly. And then also you want to remove the stock bolts that I had there and use the longer of the bolts. So
Actually, no tension at all on the belts back here.
you want to replace. There's regular bolts here from the factory. You want to replace them with these, so that they're shoulder bolts instead of threaded bolts holding that bearing. Now, what were you saying, Coffe?
The tension, it's no tension back at all.
Good. So this needs to change the shoulder bolt. We're gonna put a spacer in here, and a spacer there and there. And we're gonna the new mount's gonna hold on to there too as well. Damn, I forgot to unload my filament. Actually, do I need? Yeah, I need. No. I don't need to unload my filament. I should. It would be nice to get this box off. I blew out my board trying to run higher voltage to my drivers while I was messing around with shit yesterday trying to see how much top speed I could get. So I'm gonna be modifying. I'm gonna be testing the new tool boards. I got them to flash. I got the flash bootloaders on them, and I also when I get these, it's so quick for me to do it. I'm probably just gonna have these preloaded with a klipper and the bootloader on them, so you don't have to go through the whole mess in the guide. Or at least I have it where you don't have to hold down the B0 and the B1 to B1 to 3.3 volts and B0 to 3.3 while you're doing reset the ground. It's a big mess, basically. So I found no credit for me. I didn't make this at all, but I found a different bootloader that I can put on that lets you just literally just put a jumper on these two pins and it puts it into flashing mode and the light starts blinking. So it makes the steps way easier. And then you can flash like a regular klipper MCU. But figure it would show. I want you guys to see what this is all about. So the idea is now the new tool boards have the ability. So anyone who waited, honestly, it's a good thing to wait because they had a lot more stuff. I still got to solder that on, but basically, it has support for either 3 mechanical end stops or a BL touch and one end stop. So you can run your BL touch and your next end stop now off this. I mean, you always could run a BL touch with the old one, but you had to do some trickery. You had to basically use the end stop pin, and then you had to use a fan output to control the servo on it. You know, so it wasn't really the right way. Now we have 3 native end stop supports. Well, basically, these 3 pins are fully programmable GPIO, so we do anything with them. So you have PWM control for that, for either use for solid state relay or whatever you want. Then we have 2 thermistor inputs. So I'm going to use the 1 thermistor on the hot end, and then I'm going to take the other thermistor and put it on my extruder motor. But for someone doing dual extrusion, we could take there's little tiny SSRs that are like this big, that they sell on File Street for like, I think they're like $4 or something like that. You could buy one of them and use one of the PWM outputs and power the heater on the second hot end, have the 2 thermistors, so you have one tool board that could do both hot ends, which is cool. Then the other added feature is the accelerometer on board, and the last added feature, which is we can switch it so the USB goes through the micropick connector with these little pads. Basically, you could disconnect the can by cutting those traces, and you could solder this pad to that pad, this pad to that one, and that would make it so this USB plug feeds through the micropick connector if you don't want to use CAN bus. I mean, or you could just use a USB plug-in cable and not use CAN bus anyway, but it's just way more options, which is really cool. By the way, I'm gonna kill Coffe if no one heard anything I said, just the game's too low. Did you hear anything I said?
I had everything.
Nice and clear and loud, or not, or too quiet?
No, it was nice and clear for me.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I think everyone on YouTube will hear that too.
What the hell is my fan whipping like that? You know what? I want to show you guys how. What's going on with these temperatures? There we go. I'm going to show you guys how the extruder sounds. This is just the 17mm one, and being tuned and everything, you guys probably won't even be able to, might not even be able to hear it through the mic. But I can feed, I'm going to try to feed at 30mm a second and see if it skips. I just unloaded, so I don't know. Yep, it reloaded itself. Oh, that's my temperature. Duh. Just for the hell of it. Let's see if we can do a 30mm second feed. So it's not skipping. And that's 30 millimeters a second linear, which is insane, but it's going to skip if I do 25, guaranteed. And it does not. That's
But what's the
insane.
name of that extruder you're using?
The one that I made.
The one you got in bulk.
Oh, the hot end.
You
The
ordered,
hot end is
yeah.
the Takato. That's the one that Ken Nunn designed. I thought you said an extruder. Yeah, the Takato hot end. But look at that, dude. That is 30 millimeters a second linear. So what does that work out to? Let me open up Super Slicer. That's an easy way to cheat. Okay, so filament speed of 5 equals 12.8. So let's jump to print speed. First layer to 400 and see what that film speed is. Okay, 24 millimeters a second is 59 cubic millimeters. And 30.9 millimeters per second is 74 millimeters. So let's drop that down a tiny bit. 30.6, a little bit more. So 72.11 millimeters cubic a second. That thing's pumping out right now at that. And it can do it in it's not going to make it with 50 millimeters. 25 millimeters, it doesn't skip. But let's try 50. See how bad it skips. Oh, right at the end. So let me give it a little more temperature. And this is through a 0.4 nozzle too. Yeah, I think that's just the limit of a 0.4 nozzle. But still, that's 72 millimeters cubic a second trying to hit. For the hell of it, I'll see if I can do 10 millimeters at 60. Yep. No problem. So a copper nozzle would probably pull this off. Because it's just the heat transfer isn't fast enough. Because it's able to do 25 millimeters at 60 millimeters a second. That's 142 millimeters cubic. That's a good fucking hot end. I don't care who you are.
Is it just one heater or two in that?
2.
50 watts.
Yeah, I have 240s on one and 250s on another. Alright, let me pull this sucker back down. Wow, that's crazy. You shut the heaters off and it instantly can extrude.
Did you have any plans to make a girder for the nozzle as well?
Yes.
Or for the extruder?
Yep. fucking cooked some filament in there. Like an idiot. Alright. Unloaded the filament. And put that down. Alright, are you doing anything cool to show anyone? Oh shit.
I'm just waiting.
Oh no, why would you be waiting? You could okay. Yeah. Start taking your the back motor mounts can come completely off. So what you want to do is you want to unhook. Well, here, how about this? Put the spacers in the front first. Do that. That's easy. So you can do that while I run and grab my drill. And reset that breaker. So basically, what you're gonna want to do is you don't gotta take off the top, only the bottom.
Okay.
So unbolt the clamp that holds the belt on the bottom, and you're not gonna don't touch the zip ties because you have no need to. But make sure you remember to change that bolt to the shoulder bolt, the threaded one, is A. B is you're going to put the spacer in. And C is when you put it back together, there's 4 longer bolts. M5 bolts or M6 bolts or whatever they were.
Then when you use the new shoulder bolts.
Yeah, you can use the two shoulder bolts, you're going to use them. And you're going to use one of the longer bolts in each corner, the black bolts. You're going to replace the 12mm one and use the 14mm one that I gave you. Because even with the stock setup, they use the same length bolts for one to go through an extra plate, and it only grabs with like 2 or 3 threads. Like it's got like a millimeter of engagement, or a millimeter. It's like, it's a joke. It's really bad. You'll see what I mean when you take it off. And make sure to catch the bolts, because there's a lock washer on it that if that bolt hits the ground, the lock washer is going to shoot somewhere really far away. And it sucks. And then you gotta walk around on the floor with a magnet for a few hours.
So you just want me to remove the teeth pulley and just change that one?
You mean the bolt?
Yes, just remove the teeth pulley that holds the belt.
Yes, but also you're going to install one of those spacers, the 1mm flat spacers.
Yes.
On the bottom. Hold it up, so
Okay, so remove everything there and just change to this one.
Where are your spacer plates?
The spacer is here.
No, the plates. Spacer plates.
Oh, you mean this one?
Nope.
The one I printed yesterday?
Nope. The metal little flat spacer plates.
Oh, this?
Yes. That's what I was talking about. That's got to get installed on the bottom, in between, to make it 1mm further away. I mean, technically you don't really need it, but in order for the belt paths to be perfect, it needs it. Otherwise, they're going to be off by like a 1mm. So when you uninstall that, you're going to sandwich it in. Here, let me use that exploded CAD view. Okay, you looking at my screen?
Yes.
So, okay. So here, that spacer gets added right there,
Okay.
and this gets changed to the shoulder bolt from the regular one, and the stock bolts right here let me switch to the other side because you can't really see it from that side. Okay, they use the same length stock bolts, but this actually isn't 100% accurate right here because it's missing the Z drive bracket. I gotta talk to Jake about that. But the Z drive bracket, how do I hide that? I don't know how to hide this. Whatever. Um, okay. Yeah, so in reality, this bolt is going through the extra Z plate. So we're replacing that with the longer one that I sent you.
Okay.
On each corner. There's 4 of them. But this explodey thing is really cool, right? How you can do that and see all the
Yeah.
hardware. Pretty nifty. Gotta set the camera to.
So the space between the extrusion and change the shoulder bolt.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Infinity pool. Yeah, baby. Okay. Let me go grab that, Joe. Oh, let me switch back to the camera so these guys aren't staring at a fucking. Here we go. Beautiful. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. There, Coffee?
Yeah, drop the piece inside the rail.
You have a magnet?
But I don't know where I dropped it.
Oh,
I
you
could
know
probably-
what? Actually, that's a really, you just gave me a good idea to tell people to, I mean, it doesn't help you now, but a good thing to have for the install is a magnet. Small magnet. You know? I also found new syringes that I'm going to put these up on the website pre-filled as long as they work. So people don't have to buy a giant thing of the right grease, but they're curved. So
Okay.
it makes your life way easier. See if it works.
But where the hell did it go?
Maybe I'll have to heat it up a little bit or something. It sucks in easy. Let's see how well it works though. Seems good. Oh, especially for the Z drives. It fits in the hole perfect. And the curve is just awesome. Yeah. This is gonna be a winner. Guess everyone's looking at my ass, huh? I should probably switch that camera.
And I can't find any spares somewhere, right?
Alright, which piece did you drop?
The T-nut inside the rail.
Oh, it fell. The T-nut. It slid down. Okay. Which T-nut? Show me.
The first one inside here. I removed it because I didn't know if it was the right side of the bolt.
What do you mean the right side of the bolt?
The right size of the bolt because I couldn't get the tabs to
Well,
take
I have
on
a
the
question.
bolt.
You were using the new bolt that I sent you, right?
Yes, but I didn't know if that was the right bolt or not.
Yeah, show me which bolt you were trying to use. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It doesn't help me now when I can't find it.
It fell out into the printer, you're saying?
Into the printer on the floor.
Oh. I mean, try tilting the printer to the side and make sure it didn't slide underneath the motherboard. Because even if you have a spare, you don't want that to short something out if it's touching something underneath it. Otherwise, there's a few ways we can harvest that size T-nut. Like you could probably grab one from it temporarily from an acrylic panel.
I think it sounded like it hit the floor.
So use one of the ones from your acrylic panel for now.
Should have a box somewhere inside of my workshop with new nuts.
I have an idea. I'll pull one of these. I'll cut the tip of one of these and use it as a filler.
But the one on the back side of the panel is not the same size.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure if the panel ones were the same. But okay, so and the ones I sent were M4. Then we could get an M5 from. It's a good problem, huh? All right, let's see. Maybe I should start sending few extra peanuts in case people lose them. I guess that's gonna have to be. That's something I'll do. I guess. I mean, it doesn't help you now, but you said you think you have some, right?
Yes, but the one is I found it.
Oh, where was it?
No, it was just a regular nut. Fuck. Not inside of the printer, at least. And the size is M4 or M5.
5, I believe. I'm gonna pull mine apart in a second. I'm just eating my granola bar. Oh, dropping granola everywhere. Damn it. Okay. Coffe, didn't you add plates to your corners?
It's in my corners.
Yeah, didn't you add bracing to your printer? I feel like I
Yes,
remember.
I did.
What size T-nuts did you use?
But I think the M5 is much bigger, so they don't come in into the extrusion.
That's right, you did it on the 3030s.
Because I think they are too big.
What about the original filament spool holder? That goes in the 3032. Can you steal one from a different printer?
I don't have that kind of nuts on that either. I'll do the other side meanwhile, and then I can search on the floor.
Okay.
But if I understand you correctly, the metal shim should be between the extrusion and the plate.
Yep.
So then I need to lose everything
Just off the
to get
bottom.
it there.
Yeah. That's why I said you want to prop up the gantry. I'm going to do mine right now.
Where the hell did it go? I can't find it on the floor, so it must be inside of the printer, but I can't see it inside of the printer. That's
That's
why.
why I was saying tilt the printer on it over to the side just a little bit. So you make it slide to one edge.
No. No, it sounded like it hit metal.
Yeah. Make sure
They have a magnet.
yeah, but a cool trick. Stick the magnet right next to the screw. While you're taking it out, and then you drop the magnet down, and you have the screw in your hand. Well, epic. So then, when you finish screwing it out, you don't lose anything. It's the magnet. Catches it.
Wouldn't it be possible for me to use a smaller peanut instead?
Yeah, why not?
Change. They use a regular peanut instead. What's this? So how long do you want it to be?
What?
The new bolt.
Well, I would use it for the 12mm one, the shorter one, not the longer one.
But they all the same length, the new bolts you sent me.
Yeah, but there's 4 bolts and there's 8 bolts that are being used for the corners. It's 2 per corner. You need 2 bolts that are longer for the inside piece and 2 bolts that are shorter for the outside piece. Follow?
Do you want me to change the inside to the new one?
Doesn't matter which one, as long as you make sure that it's long enough. Because, look at my screen. So your assembly,
The new one is 12mm, and I get a 12.
your assembly goes like this on here, but the one bolt has to go through the Z on top of it, so it needs to be longer. They used the same length originally; they shouldn't have. Is the point? Follow?
I think so. Well, I have a new one.
Perfect. I'm gonna grab one of my kits because I just realized I didn't get any hardware for myself. Whatever it is, it's bagged up.
And then you want me to use the locking ring on the front one, right? The lock ring from the old bolt.
Yeah, might as well. It should be untensioning my Z, which I'm going to probably in a second because I'm trying to get away with doing it that, but it's not working out so well.
And these bolts, do I need to mount them hard, or do I need to let them to be loose for now?
You can go tight with those. You just want to make sure that they're not. You just want to make sure that you have it straight.
Yeah, it looks straight.
What is it?
It looks straight.
Okay, good.
And then I'm gonna
You can come
remove
back
the
later and put like a straight
pulley.
edge on it. You know, we can come back later and loosen them a tiny bit and straighten it out if we
Yeah.
need to.
So now I'm gonna lose the belt teeth. Robot.
Yeah.
The front pulley.
Yeah.
Remove that one and change to your new one.
No, you don't change anything. You just remove the extra one.
The extra one.
Didn't you already do it?
Yeah, but I can. So what do you want me to do?
You need to. You did both sides?
No, I'm still on the first side.
Oh. Yeah, so.
But you told me before you went out that I need to remove the pulley in front and change it to the new one.
Well, your
You sent
problem
me.
is you're using wrong words. You're saying pulley instead of
Yes.
bolt. I said
You
shoulder
want,
bolt. You're saying
so
pulley.
remove.
So that's
Yeah.
that's why I want to make sure to be that I'm not telling you to do the wrong thing and then you know what I mean? You
So I'm
got
gonna remove the front bolt.
yes, and switch it to the shoulder one exactly. That's right. Okay. I just didn't want you to switch the pulley, and then you know.
And I'm gonna change because you sent me new rows.
New what?
This one.
Yeah, those are for the back. You're not gonna change that.
Okay. So in the front it is shim on both sides, and not the small ones you sent me.
Correct. Just reuse the
We use everything old.
Except for the bolt.
So what's the difference between the new bolt and the old one?
One has threads and one doesn't.
Yes, but what's more, why do we change it?
Because you're never supposed to have a bearing on a threaded bolt.
Okay.
Because otherwise, then the threads end up digging into the bearing race. Plus, it's going to always be a little bit loose since it's designed for a what's that shit called? It's designed for a to go into threads, so that it's actually going to be smaller than it's supposed to be, which is bad in a lot of ways. I mean, why do you think they use shoulder bolts, the right ones, on the X bracket where we could see them, but on this, because of the fact that it was covered by the aluminum spacer, they decided to use the cheaper regular bolts. You don't think there was a You don't think they did that on purpose because they knew that you wouldn't be able to tell?
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm very sure.
But now when I have the shim inside, it's a lot more play.
On the idler?
Yeah.
What do you mean by a lot more play? Like it can
I
turn.
can put like one more shim inside.
Oh, for up and down, you mean? Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
we made the space 1 millimeter bigger. But I mean that's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like I don't really if you want to you can, but I personally don't care. Like I'm doing mine right now, and you'll see in a second. I'm not gonna bother constraining it because once again, if everything's lined up right, gravity does its thing. You worry about holding the stacks up, but you don't worry about holding them down. But that's the stuff that I'm gonna post a link for if people want to try to shim it to be exact for everything. They can use a shim kit. I just personally, like I said, like mine moved a lot. I'm not even putting the breast ones back in. I don't think. Maybe I should. Now you said that. Fucker. Damn you, Coffee. Ah.
So with this new setup, it will be impossible to tighten the brass distance on the edge, right?
What do you mean impossible to tighten?
Because we shim it on the outside, so the brass distance or copper or what it is, it will be impossible to make it tight as it was before.
I don't want it to be super tight either. Oh, the brass spacer. No, that's where those 3mm washers that I gave you are for. Now I understand what you're saying.
3mm washers.
Yep. I think I'm gonna make a little jig for doing this. I mean, last time I did them with it out of the printer, which probably is a better idea. But magnet go. I want to do my magnet.
Did you drop something too?
Yeah, I don't know where my magnet went. Son of a bitch. Just had my magnet. Where did it go? Hmm. I'll think of a better way to have you guys do this. Like maybe put super glue, hold the bearings in place. I try to do this, I guess, just the old-fashioned. Good old-fashioned way.
Okay, first side is complete.
Okay.
So the only
So that's the
reason
best
we
way to do
shim
it,
it
just to
in
slide
the
something up from the
bottom.
bottom.
What?
The best way to do it is how I'm doing it right now. You slide a bolt or a screwdriver or something up from the bottom as you're building up your stack, and then you.
No, yeah, but the only reason we shim it in the bottom is so we can get a little bit of a plate.
Yeah. Correct.
Because on the old setup, it's just on the same place all the time.
Yeah. Well, and we need a little bit more height. I mean, we need to be able to, we put the shim to make the space bigger so that we can fit the pulleys properly in the back. Otherwise, because two 10 millimeter pulleys, two gauge pulleys are 10 millimeters tall, which is 20 millimeters total, and they need to have something in between so that they can spin properly. And if they don't, then it's going to not what's it called? It's not going to oh yeah, they're not gonna be able to spin. So that's why we had to make it 21 millimeters so we could fit shims in between the bearings. Was the whole point of that. That's one of the things that I didn't like with certain other unnamed printers, is that they don't care about a 1 millimeter bearing misalignment. Which in reality it's only 1 millimeter, but it matters because that's how you can end up getting patterns on your prints. Because if the teeth aren't perfectly straight up and down, when you get close to the edge, that 1 millimeter matters. I think, anyway. Could be wrong. I don't know. Also, it's a hell of a lot easier to do this like you are with your side panels off. I just don't feel like picking my printer up and taking it off the desk. So, figure I'll do it the hard way. Ah, damn it. Forgot to put my seat. before you go super tight, also make sure that you have your bracket lined up so it's straight. That's why it's nice to use the brass one first while the other stuff's still not super tight. That's what I was saying. I think I'm gonna make a jig for this stuff to make it easier to line it up all perfect.
Shit.
You have lubricant too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Depends on what kind of lubricant you're asking about.
The kind that's safe for the lime stream.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not,
That I
not,
have a lot of.
not the after the live stream lubricant. Because you're gonna want to hit your pulleys a tiny bit. Might as well while you're doing this.
This actually took much more longer than I would imagine it would take.
Yeah, but it's, to be honest with you, a lot of your time added on was trying to find that when you drop that bolt. And me, I'm just playing with stuff right now because every time I install this, I try different things. I'm trying to, I want to try to find like any little tricks or that makes it easier for you guys. Like I'm thinking about, I want to see something with this with maybe using cardboard. But I don't know how good of an idea this is, but it might be. Or I might have just made it so I have to start over. Seems like a good idea. It's not. Damn it. I've done that. think I might have figured out the best way to do it. This way seems faster, nothing dropping so far. Actually, maybe if I use the stock, that's the way to do it. We use the original bolt that we're removing. I think I may have got it. Take the original bolt we're removing.
Okay.
Use that as the guide. From the bottom up. That's try one more time, starting off that way, and let's see how it works. Uh-oh. Okay, so take the old bolt and stick it up from the bottom. You start stacking your stuff up.
No, I'm still on the extrusion bar.
That's fine. I'm trying to play with. Yeah, so then you can start stacking your stuff as you're pressing this bottom bolt in. This might be the fastest way to do this.
I heard it on the floor.
Yep. Me too. They keep taking it apart and putting it back together. So, I mean, that method works good for taking it apart. I mean, putting it together, not so much for taking it apart. But go.
And nothing should be tightened or anything right now, right?
On what?
Not for king and country. On the pulleys or anything, because this one I'm adjusting the belt tension on.
Yeah, you don't need to tighten anything yet.
What you like.
Alright, so that's the new method. That's worked reliably like 3 times in a row now. That's the way. That's definitely the best way to do it. And like I said, it's not the easiest to take it apart like that. But I mean, that's just taking it apart as a whole is not the easiest. But it works great. And it spins nice. Oh, I'm an idiot.
Why?
I forgot to loop the stupid belt around it. Whatever, I'm gonna have to redo the belts anyway, so. Alright, I gotta catch up to you now. So what are you working on now?
I'm just mounting the brass distance, and then I'm done.
Okay, cool. I guess this will be the test of how good this new method works, if I can catch up to you. Really pissed that I can't find my magnet.
Peter says it looks very complicated.
Peter?
Slagos.
Oh, Peter. Yeah. Well, the front three parts is not bad. It's the doing this is obviously the motor mounts is the more involved part. And I've
It's
done
not so complicated. It's
It's
just
not.
simply all the small bits.
It's not exactly. I just need to come up. Well, I think that the way I just did that front piece, I think makes it way easier. So I'm gonna try to do it on the first try right now and see how it goes. Because I think yeah, I mean I think it will. I'm also doing things very, very wrong. Like I should have loosened the Z drives. But if I can get it done without loosening the Z drives, and all the crap I'm doing right now, then anyone will be able to do this install. That's the way I see it. Yeah, this is going way, way faster doing it the other way.
I got a question here.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the cross gantry printers from the annex?
What? What about Annex?
Thoughts on the cross gantry printers like from annex?
What about him? Thoughts on it, he said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those things are. I actually like them a lot. There's a guy, Ahmed, that was in our group like 2 years ago. I drew up something very similar to that. Like they made it like they almost it was like the ultimate setup in my mind, and they made it pretty close to like it seemed pretty close to what that was, which I thought was pretty cool. But it's expensive. You know, I don't think you need to do it as overkill as they did. Like me personally, I would rather have if I'm going to spend money on 4 big steppers, I'd rather spend money on 2 good clear path servos. You know, like it's the same price, and you'll have way more torque and speed, and they'll be closed loop. But the cross gantry setup is just really nice. I just would probably do things a little different. Like I'd have 1 bar vertical, one floating MGN 12 like this, and then maybe do an MGN 9 the other way. There's no reason to have both rails heavy like that. Or even do something like an MGN 15 the one way, an MGN 9, or probably more likely I would do maybe 2 MGN 9s cross and then have one of them has a support piece of like carbon fiber spar, like cut flat. But yeah, there's a lot of potential there with that design, and it's a really, really nice design. But it's not for the faint of heart. Definitely don't recommend. That would not be like a first printer build or something.
So do you want me to start to remove the back motors?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely a much better install method.
Yeah, thanks for the input.
What do you mean?
Thanks for your thoughts
Oh,
about the printer.
yeah. Oh, that's what they wrote.
Yeah.
Got it. I was like, why are you saying thank you? I thought you were saying thank you at first.
I read the comment.
Thank you. Oh. Dude, this makes it so much easier. Installing the stacks like that. I was thinking about making a like you know, now that the gantry kits are pretty much like you know, pretty much completely final, and like I've got like all the kinks pretty much worked out. I was thinking of making a like a refresh kit for the Trudon, you know, to replace the other existing idlers and you know maybe not belts, or maybe make two options, one that comes with belts and one without it, but just something to like get like as the printer gets older, you know.
Yes. Hmm. And the purpose of the new brackets behind is to remove the belt between the motors, so to be direct drive. Correct.
You're getting rid of a lot of parasitic loss, and you're also getting rid of any deviation from having two sets of belt meshes. You know, even though technically GT2 belts are supposed to be zero lash, there's going to be some. You know, it's just not possible. there's going to be, you're going to have there's some deviation no matter what. But between getting rid of those and then getting rid of the two in the front, we're reducing a lot of friction. You know?
Yes. Oh. So what more do you want me to remove?
Hang on, I'll look in 1 second. Just lining up my make a little print that does this. So Jake, that'll hold these lined up, and then at the same time help us do the bearing stacks. I don't think that. Okay, so you already have them off?
The motors is off.
Okay, now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut the zip ties for the back belts.
You want me to cut them over the gantry or under?
I would cut under. That's the side we put the spacers on anyway. And to answer Peter's thing, this is the only part that you're about to do that actually, you can consider it complicated. I mean, like I said, the other stuff you do it prepared. There's already been quite a few people that have done the install, and no horror stories yet. Some of the stuff sometimes is common sense that you just don't think of. Like, I don't know why I didn't think to access from the top for the last part of the shim stack.
So the measuring tool you posted a video about for a week ago, when you want to check the tension of the belts.
Yeah.
And how do you check them on these belts?
Same way.
Because you can't use gravity here.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You wanted me to remove the belts for the SATA, the height.
Yeah.
And you posted a 3D printed part to check the tension of the belts.
Yeah.
But how do you check it on these parts? Or can you use it the same way?
You mean the vertical ones, or what are you
Yeah,
talking?
the vertical ones.
Oh. Yeah, we could do the same one, but I'd have to make a different tool because I'm sure it's gonna be a different weight, and we would just have to. I would just have to do some calculations and figure out what height to set the gantry at, and then we would set the gantry at the height, and I would make a tool that stands up at a 45 and then falls down to a 90. But yeah, I could easily do that. Is that your way of asking me to do that?
No, that's not my way. I just wanted to ask you how to check the tension.
No, it's actually a good idea though. I'll do that. It's really not a bad idea at all. So if everyone likes it, I'll say I asked Coffee about it and he told me not to do it. And if they hate it, I'll say on a live stream it was Coffee's idea. Right?
Fine with me. I've just changed my address before.
Dude, these new
Yep, the
syringes
belt
are
is
awesome.
off.
I'm really liking these new syringes.
And then I start to remove everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a phone call. But we don't speak so much anyway. You didn't notice it.
You got a phone call?
No, it was my little sister. Her boyfriend just killed an animal, and she asked me if we wanted the legs from the animal to give to our dogs. And of course we want that.
You get along with him?
If I get along with my sister,
No, with your sister's boyfriend.
yeah, I get along with him. He gives me free meat when he kills something.
Yeah.
So you want me to remove all the shims and bearings and everything?
Yeah. That's less. We need all the shims. So yeah.
Wait a second.
What? Like all the news does is try to scare people.
I'm just giving some instructions to my girlfriend where to pick up the animal parts. Isn't it easy to just do one side first? With the belts and everything.
I did, but just don't secure. You know, you don't want to tighten the belts down completely, but yeah, I did one side at a time. Makes your life a little easier.
Sitter det? Two guys mid-30s moaning and groaning over 3D printers.
Yeah. Well, I find this moment. I'm just being ridiculous right now. Trying to find the exact combination of shims. It's too fucking tight again. Should have left it alone. So, the original way was the best. Well, at least now I know. Just a whole bunch of time. Nothing. At least now if someone asks if they'd be better off adding more shims, I can say no.
The bearings inside of the old gantry parts should not be reused, right?
You don't want to.
If I don't
Garbage.
want to.
Why? Because we'd rather have real idlers.
Okay.
That's what the smooth idlers are for. I gotta come up with some type of jig for aligning this. Anyway. Stand up for a minute, my back is gonna explode.
Wait a second, Robert. Okay, everything is off from one side. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down. So which side is which side?
Let me see. The left is the left and the right's the right.
Yes. Love that answer.
You the pieces with the counter bores in it are the top pieces. So
Okay.
face the counter bores down. That's to make sure that the pulleys. Actually, you know, let me just grab two and I shall show. Quite proud of this. The bottom pieces are not directional. Doesn't matter. Now some of these are real. Okay. Some of these are real tight, like
Yes.
and yet the dowels, and you have to sand them a little bit. But these ones aren't sanded, and I got lucky. But they're interference fit, so they're very tight. That's what you want. But the way this goes is these are bottoms. So this would be back right if you're looking at the printer. If you turn around and you are the printer, the left. So the
I need a motor.
east side of the
This
printer.
piece.
So you would find the one and those counter leaves are there so that the bolt heads don't block the pulley from spinning. But this is where the
Should I
exploded
mount the motor
cavity.
now?
The motor. Honestly, you can put together the entire thing now, and then you just snake the belts through after. This is how it should go.
Move it down a little bit. Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. This is the top.
I need
I had it
3
upside down
of
like a
these.
jerk. Like a jerk. Like a jerk. 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 Jerk.
And I use the old distance from the kit.
What?
This one.
Yeah.
And then the brass shims on both sides of everything.
You're gonna use once again, you don't really have to worry about the top. This one's gonna locate itself. You know, the motor pulley is gonna locate it. The idea is you don't want to over constrain shit. You know, if everything's set up right, it should have no vibration up and down. But these are way better than the original. The most important thing is that those 4 shims that you have,
Yes.
this is where they go. Because if you try using these anywhere else, they won't work. They'll literally fall into the holes of stuff. But they go, if you put them in between the pulleys, and then, so one in between the pulleys and one at the bottom of the pulley, nothing at the top. Because they're 0.4 millimeter, 0.4 would be 1.2, it wouldn't fit. But this leaves a 0.2 gap to the top, and has them set up to spin beautifully. But that's why I have to put a BOM because everyone's printer has different bearing shims. Some people have, I don't know, some people have like the big brass one and then really thin ones to begin with. Actually, it seems like a lot of the older ones had it, and then they changed and don't have them anymore. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But it's frustrating. But yeah, these things, really, really nice. Like, you'll be amazed
But you
at how
just
much easier
using the
it's to move
flat pin.
What?
The flat.
What flat pan?
Can you show me each part you're using when you're assembling it?
I don't know where my other. Oh. So one side's gonna have the single idler on the bottom, and one's gonna be at the top. But honestly, on my other printer, I didn't even set these. But you could. You should use the spacer, to do it. I'm gonna pop my back cover off real quick and
But you're using these parts inside the bearing.
Is that split or is that solid?
It's solid.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It almost looked like it was split for a second. You're probably gonna have to sand it a tiny bit. What I did was I threw it in the chuck of a drill, and then you just spin it while you're holding a little sandpaper in your finger for like 30 seconds. Do it like 10 seconds at a time because you want it to be a tight, snug fit. I wonder if I should do this without taking the back off, just see if I can. Oh no, I'm changing my board. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that first. Really gotta find my hand driver.
Yeah, and I need to find some new sandpaper.
Your resin printer probably came with some. Or any of your
Sandpaper?
yeah, or any of your build surfaces. They usually come with it to scratch the build surface.
I have never received sandpaper when I buy a printer. $600. That's nope.
You can do that freezer thing that a couple people were talking about, but
Put it in the freezer.
yeah, the post. pay someone to edit this videos.
Yes, really, really tight.
You got sandpaper? You found sandpaper
don't-
or emery cloth maybe? How is that noise? Oh.
Yeah, a little bit more. Did you reuse your old cable chain?
Yeah. I have to change that though.
Yes, all the.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
Adam asking about the old idlers in the front and the back.
Well, the old idlers can
Yes,
front
but
aren't part of the kit, but I mean, ain't a bad idea to change them depending on how old they are. Stock ones aren't the
But
greatest quality.
he asks about all the new ones is just for the back.
Yes. Because the back has bearing stacks, which don't have enough room. Yeah, I'll get to that. It's the original beta bent piece. I gotta put a nice one on mine. I'm gonna hurry up a little now. Gotta get some other stuff done. I'm sure you don't want to be doing this all night either. Let's speed up a little bit.
Yes. I don't know if they will fit, but they have probably expanded now because they are so hot.
Right.
Should it be a shim between the pulleys?
What? Yes, yes,
But-
yes. Well, oh, I picked up the sock one.
Yeah, we'll solve this tomorrow.
What?
Drink a broke one bearing.
Do you have any?
Yes, I have a spare of them. But can you just show me again how you mounted it? Because I can't. Oh, they just rest on the distance in the hose. But in what hose? Those. In those. Yes. Now I understand. Was it working out for you?
Good. I'm about to take my bed off because I want to start putting those tool boards that I just flashed on my AV motors, and I gotta run new CAN bus wires, and I'm gonna probably change my whole motherboard out because I'm gonna try to do this 48 volt thing down the road. Obviously, the 30 volts didn't work out too well, so I gotta I'm gonna have to print some tighter clips too. Yeah, one thing to make sure of when you're doing your cable chain is the cables can't be like twisting around in the chain. Like you want them to be, if one starts off on the bottom left, you want it to run through the whole chain on the bottom left. You follow?
Yeah, I did that before. Oh.
What?
No, I got the bearings too tight between each other. That's why they got stuck in each other.
What are you working on now?
I'm trying to remove the pin so I can sandpaper it down more.
Oh.
Yeah, I think sandpaper and maybe put them in the freezer.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
Of course.
Because when you sandpaper them, then they will expand off the heat.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, pull back down.
Oh no. You turned off the AC.
Yeah, because I'm soldering. And it's blowing right on me.
I actually don't think the bearings like when you press in the pin in a vise.
Probably not. They need to be.
Because
You just gotta sand them down. I wouldn't. I wouldn't press it in a device because that's a good way to break. Damn. Need a small flathead. Oh, this could be a problem. Damn, that's
yep.
a hard screwdriver. It ain't working.
Yeah, my girlfriend asked me to order some food. I think we need to call it a day soon.
Are you off tomorrow?
No, I'm working tomorrow, but I think I'm 6 hours in
'Cause I
front of you
reset.
anyway.
'Cause I reset my schedule for tomorrow because we were supposed to be getting a crazy hurricane. So I'm gonna be home tomorrow. Um, what time do you think you'll be home from work?
4 o'clock for me, and it will be 10 o'clock for you, I think it is.
Do you want to call me like when you're on the way home? But call my regular number, not Facebook, just in case. Because that'll forward to my house phone if the cell phone service is still down. Actually, I think
Yes.
it's working. I think it might be working again because I thought I heard it ringing before.
Just gonna order some pizza. Wait a second.
Oh, I gotta load a canned bootloader onto this.
If I have new bearings.
Alright, so let's power up a Pi, and first I'm gonna open up ST-Link. Okay, and I'm gonna grab a hardware programmer. And this is the new way that I'm gonna do tool boards for you guys, so that you don't have to go through that whole big messy install. So now I put my single wire diagnostic programmer, so you don't have to hold down B0, B1, all that bullshit. And I found a different bootloader that you don't have to do the jumping through hoops with. So connect, there it is, and then program, and that's written. Now it has a green and a red light up. So then I take it and I connect it to my Pi. And it's the green and red. And now to flash it, all you do is you just literally touch 3.3 and boot, and it starts blinking. So you don't have to hold down and restart and have the Pi disconnect. Now at this point, you open up Putty. And if you're using my image, you don't have to figure out your IP address. Just do A3dp.local. As always, the password on all the stuff for us is A3dp. Then you do CD klipper, and then you do make. First do make clean. Make sure everything's good. Then you do make menu config. Then we're gonna, this is all set. I want to set up for CAN bus, so I'm gonna turn on low level configuration, and you're going to switch to PB9, PB8, PB9. If you want to stick with USB, you would turn that off and go to USB. But do not use PA11, PA12. That's the USART1. We cannot use that because we are also, we have UART control of the driver. Now you hit escape, save, yes. Now we do Make Flash Biba, Make Flash 1003 Biba. It's easier to copy and paste it. Sorry. Okay.
Your sound is off.
Oh no, I just wasn't talking.
Oh.
I was waiting for it to compile. Oh, one thing. You gotta make sure you plug in the USB port. The flash. Oh, let's redo that. Yeah, it's flashing. And then if you're using my image, you don't have to do any CAN bus setup. You're just going to want to use that command. But obviously it's not connected with CAN bus, so we're not going to see that now. And even the lsdev command probably isn't going to show anything because it's not on a USB communication, it's on CAN bus communication. But anyway, now it's ready to plug back into the printer. So I want you guys to know that in the future, the toolboards no longer have anything special or confusing to do. Flash them. I thought that was pretty cool. Besides the added features, just being able to do it conveniently. So are you doing anything else now, Coffe, or no?
Yeah, I'm done with 2 bearings. Now I need to
Okay.
write.
I just wanted to make sure I should leave the your camera on or off.
But you want the small metal shims you sent here? The mini ones.
What are you talking about? What's small?
The small shims that are only 4 of.
Yes. Those
So where do you want them?
on the bottom and then in between of the double stacks. And that's it.
So no brass between them.
No. There's no room.
Yeah. And on the bottom is the plate where you don't mount the motor, right?
Correct.
And the double stacks, can you just take a look here now?
Yep. So let me tighten this post. Okay.
And the double stack should be here or here.
It depends on which side.
This is the right side when you're looking
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
the double stack is always gonna be. Double stack is always gonna be on the outside, I believe. Yeah. Let me look at my. Yeah, the double stack always has to be on the outside. Exactly. Yep.
And then the single stack one is brass, 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 and distance.
That's where you want to use that exploded view. But yeah.
On the inside.
The exploded blue view will make your life a lot easier.
And that one is posted on your webpage now, right?
Yep. I actually embedded it into the gantry install guide. And then I believe I sent Jake the code so that he can embed it into other posts that explains and teaches more how to use it.
Oh, this makes everything so much easier.
I'm trying to tell you. God damn it, I got a mess. Oof. I need to find my goddamn cups. Change this to a dual crimp setup since I have two thermistors now. Another plastic screw down.
Is it new bolts to hold the motor now?
Yeah. 6 button heads are in there. Which is what we want to use. Six button heads.
The 6 button heads is yes, you can drop 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, stock only uses 2 bolts. I like using 3.
But I have like a damper between my motor and
Yeah,
so I can only use 2.
Get rid of that. I mean, you can keep it if you want, but you really should get rid of it. We have trinamic drivers now that are quieter, and all that does is just add deviation.
Then there's no button head so you can lose anyone.
What? I wonder how Swedish pizza compares to American pizza.
Difference between Swedish pizza and don't know actually. It's not so usual, but I can only reference to watching movies. And it's not a big thing in Sweden to sell pizzas by only selling them a slice.
Well, that's like a New York thing. Even in Connecticut, when I moved here, it's not nearly as common for pizza by the slice. It was frustrating to get used to at first. Damn you. Used the wrong size crimps. Oh.
But now I need to change the height of the teeth on the motor as well. Komma! Yeah, my girlfriend is home.
Okay.
But I will give you a call tomorrow when I'm on my way home.
Yes, sir.
Have a nice day and send my best regards, and I hope you don't get any bad hurricane.
Thank you. I think we might have gotten lucky. I mean, the wind looks like it's picking up, but the rain already stopped. I gotta check the weather to see. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully I missed it. That's it. Maybe what I'll do is I just set my crimps. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take apart my bed and stuff later on. So in the morning, I'll wait to hook up the new board because I figure that'd be something that some people might want to see. Is changing the board on the Trudon.
See you tomorrow, dude.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye.
I'm gonna walk over to the computer in a second and check to see if you guys have asked any questions. And answer them if you did, obviously. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use one of these thermistors to get the motor temperature so that we can keep track of how hot the orbiter gets and get some real good info once and for all. Because even the infrared gun can't be that accurate, but you know, up until now it's the best we got. So the center plug is thermistor 1, the outer plug is thermistor 2, and the first plug is a shared ground. I always like to bend these in a little bit first. Makes life easier, and I don't like to use geared crimps that do both in one shot. I like using the individual ones because they in my opinion get a much better crimp that you can control much better. It's almost like a factory crimp when you do it with these. Did I do the wrong one again? .5 millimeter and 2 millimeter pitch are so close to each other. It's not even funny. I just realized I've been talking very not loud. Hopefully you guys were able to hear everything I was just saying. But I do plan on making subtitles at some point. Okay. So I have to tape that on. I'll have to find some high temp tape, but for now I'll just use good old Scotch tape. All right. Looks like we're in business. See if it connects. Oh shit. Raspberry Pi wasn't connected. I forgot that I took that off. I just have to redo it. There we go. Perfect. Hmm. Hmm. That's right. We never traced the pinout on the new version. Uh, I gotta look up the KiCad setup because this isn't updated yet. Hmm. I have an idea. Maybe PC one. I'm just gonna have to end up tracing it instead of being lazy. Yeah. Oh, Alright, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna have to get KiCad working and everything. This is just find the stupid stream. Okay. So the front are going to be using 6 in the back. Okay. Oh. Alright. Have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a lot shorter and actually finally finish.